Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're navigating a really complex and vital topic,
Right.
recovery from alcohol abuse. But we're not just talking about physical sobriety, we're going deeper. We're talking about the profound, necessary work of rebuilding the relationships that get damaged along the way. Because for so many, the crisis of addiction seems to end when the drinking stops. But it's often when the crisis of connection is really just beginning. And to really grasp the scale of this, especially in a place like Northern California, the numbers are, well, they're pretty sobering. The statistic that really stopped me in my tracks was this. Nationally, alcohol is responsible for a shocking 1 in 5 deaths among U.S. adults ages 20 to 49.
1 in 5. In that age bracket, 20 to 49, that's just critical. You're talking about people in their peak productivity years, the years for building families. It's devastating.
And when you zoom in on California,
Well, in regions like San Jose, San Francisco, the North Bay, the pressures here just, they really exacerbate the issue. You have these high-stress jobs, you have social isolation, not enough mental health support. It's kind of a perfect storm for alcohol reliance.
so what does that look like on the ground?
The data shows that about 1 in 6 adults in California engages in binge drinking. And just so we're all on the same page what that means for, research purposes, binge drinking is 4 or more drinks for a woman or 5 or more for a man in about a 2 to 3 hour window.
Right.
So this deep dive is really about acknowledging that damage and then offering a real pathway toward fixing it. Our mission today is to understand how deep the injury goes and give you some actionable strategies for healing those bonds.
And it's not a static problem, is it? It's getting worse. Our sources point out that California already has the highest number of alcohol-related deaths in the nation. And between 2015 and 2019, that rate jumped by as much as 40%.
40%. It's an accelerating crisis. And that ripple effect goes so far beyond just the mortality stats. The social cost it's astronomical. You have the emotional strain on families, on kids. You have lost productivity at work, higher rates of DUIs that affect everyone. The cost is really measured in broken hearts, not just dollars.
Which brings us right to the core of it, the intimate daily damage that's done to our relationships. Over time, alcohol abuse isn't just causing arguments. It's like a corrosive agent, It just eats away at the very foundation of a marriage or a family.
It really is. And that corrosion follows a sadly predictable pattern. Our source material highlights 4 common effects that we see again and again. The first, and maybe the most fundamental, is the loss of trust.
That has to be the first thing to go.
Absolutely. And this isn't just, oh, you were late for dinner. This is a partner or a child's core sense of safety being constantly, systemically undermined. When promises are broken over and over, they start living in this state of hypervigilance, just waiting for the next bad thing to happen.
So they start to doubt everything, not just your words, but their own reality.
That's it, exactly. Which leads right into the second effect, emotional disconnection. If you can't trust what's real, how can you possibly share how you feel?
You can't.
You can't. Alcohol becomes this wall. For the person drinking, it's how they manage their emotions, so they never learn to talk about them. For the loved one, they just stop trying. They're afraid of starting a fight, or they just figure, what's the point? They won't be heard anyway.
So both people end up completely isolated, even living in the same house.
Precisely. And that brings up the third effect, which is really nuanced. It's called codependency.
I think a lot of people have heard that word, but maybe don't fully get what it means.
It's when family members start trying to control the uncontrollable. They're calling in sick for their partner, they're hiding the car keys, making excuses to the kids. They're trying to manage the crisis, but in doing so, they are unintentionally enabling the addiction to continue. It is absolutely exhausting.
And if you have all of that, no trust, no connection, this weird codependent dynamic, the final piece is just inevitable, isn't it? Conflict and resentment.
That's where it all lands. All that pain and all those arguments, they build up over years. And the really critical thing to understand is that the resentment doesn't just vanish the day someone gets sober.
No, of course not.
Sobriety is the start, but it doesn't magically heal the relationship. The work isn't about erasing the past. That's impossible. It's about building a brand new foundation, one based on honesty and mutual respect.
So before you can even start laying those new bricks with someone else, the source is really clear on this. The work has to start internally with self-forgiveness. If you're just drowning in your own guilt and shame, how can you possibly connect with someone else authentically?
You can't. It's impossible. And self-forgiveness isn't about just, letting yourself off the hook. It's the opposite. It's about taking true, deep accountability for your actions and then and this is the hard part, allowing yourself the chance to grow beyond them.
So accountability is actually an empowering act.
100%. It's saying, I see the harm I caused, and I am choosing to define myself by what I do today, not by what I did yesterday.
And that's where a holistic approach to treatment is so powerful, right?
Yeah.
I know that centers like New Life Recovery Centers in San Jose really emphasize that. That recovery is about emotional growth, not just stopping the physical act.
Exactly. They get that if you only fix the physical part, the emotional weight will just pull you right back down. So they integrate therapy, 12-step programs, things that help people process that shame and develop some self-compassion, because that's the fuel you need for the hard work of rebuilding relationships.
Okay, so let's get into that hard work. Let's get practical. Once that internal foundation starts to get a little more stable, what are the actual concrete steps someone can take to earn back trust?
Okay, so our sources point to 5 consistent behavioral patterns that really move the needle. The first, and it's the foundation for everything else, is taking genuine responsibility.
Which is more than just saying, I'm sorry.
Oh, much more. It's owning the impact of your actions. It's being able to sit there and hear about the fear you caused, the financial stress, the sadness, without getting defensive. It's terrifying, but it's essential. And then that apology has to be backed up day in and day out by sober behavior.
And that leads to the second point, which I imagine is a tough one. Respecting boundaries. Because the person in recovery might feel like, okay, I'm better now, let's go back to normal, but their family isn't there yet.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Loved ones need space. They need new rules to feel safe again. And showing that you respect those boundaries, even if they feel unfair or restrictive, is a huge sign of maturity. It shows your priority is their well-being, not just your own comfort.
Okay, so what's number 3?
It's the daily grind. Showing up consistently. Addiction is chaos. Recovery has to be the opposite. It has to be reliability. It's keeping your promises, paying the bills, being there for dinner, staying sober. It's rebuilding trust brick by painstaking brick.
I like that. Brick by brick.
4th is recognizing you can't do it alone. Seek family or couples counseling. The communication patterns you all learned during the addiction are broken. You need a professional to help everyone learn new, healthier ways to talk and listen.
And finally, the one that probably requires the most humility.
Be patient. It took years to break that trust. It's going to take months, maybe years to rebuild it. Loved ones need time to believe the change is real and permanent. Every day you practice patience, you're strengthening that new foundation.
And that idea of healing the whole system, not just the individual, that brings us back to professional treatment. Because while the person is working on being consistent, there are usually underlying issues, right? Trauma, depression, anxiety.
Almost always. And if you don't address those root causes, the recovery is built on sand. This is where expert programs utilize really effective therapies, things like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which helps you change destructive thought patterns, or motivational interviewing, which helps build that internal drive to change for good.
And you have to treat the family, too.
You absolutely have to. Addiction is a family disease. Family programs are designed to do a few key things. They educate the family that addiction is a chronic disease, not a moral failure. That helps reduce the blame. And they teach them how to stop those codependent, enabling patterns.
That's a huge shift for them.
It is. They need support, too. That's why a place like New Life Recovery Centers has a comprehensive 4-week family program. It's designed to support not just the client, but everyone who is impacted, because partners and friends need their own path to healing, too.
So once that professional structure is in place, the daily challenge becomes communication, especially early on when everyone's emotions are so raw.
Yes. So let's get tactical here. First tip, listen more, speak less. And when you listen, do it without getting defensive. Just absorb what they're saying.
That's incredibly hard.
It is. The second tool is to use I statements. Instead of saying, you always bring that up, which is blaming, you say, I feel ashamed when we talk about the past. It changes everything.
It takes the accusation out of it.
Yeah.
What else?
Express gratitude. A simple, thank you for not giving up on me, is incredibly powerful. And finally, learn to stay calm under pressure. Use those mindfulness or breathing tools you learn in therapy to create a pause before you react.
So you're not falling back into those old reactive communication styles.
You can't. You cannot build a new future using the broken tools of the past.
And when all this starts to click, it's really an opportunity to build something new. Not just to get the old life back, but to create a better, more authentic one.
That's the real goal. And community is so fundamental to that. Especially in Northern California, finding those connections is key. It could be a recovery center, volunteering, or an alumni program. For example, the alumni programs at New Life Recovery Centers provide this incredible uplifting network that strengthens accountability. It gives people a community that just gets it.
Which brings us to the crucial resources that are available right here for anyone in the Bay Area who's listening to this and is ready to take that first step.
New Life Recovery Centers is a great example. They were established back in 2004, so they're celebrating over 2 decades of experience. And their entire approach is holistic. It's about healing the body, the mind, and the spirit for real, long-term sobriety.
And they have a full range of care options in San Jose, so they can meet you wherever you are in your journey.
That's right. It starts with the most critical first step for many, which is medically supervised alcohol and drug detox. From there, they offer a comprehensive residential treatment program, which is their inpatient care.
And for people who might need a step down from that or more flexibility.
They have a PHP day treatment, which stands for partial hospitalization program, and they have something called the Superflex IOP. It's an intensive outpatient program with really flexible scheduling that can work around a job or family commitments.
How does someone even start that process? I'm sure it feels overwhelming.
They make it as straightforward as possible. They take most major insurance plans in-network: Aetna, Anthem Blue Cross, Cigna, Kaiser, Optum, and they also work with PPO and union programs. It all just starts with a simple, confidential phone call to figure out what the right fit is.
I think the biggest takeaway for me from this deep dive is that this is all possible, that healing takes time, that accountability is empowering, and that connection is built on that brick-by-brick consistency you mentioned. Rebuilding is about creating a new future.
It really is. Recovery can happen at any stage. With the right tools and the right support, people can absolutely grow into the best version of themselves, and they can bring their families along into that new, healthier life.
If you or someone you love is ready to take that first step toward hope and a new beginning, please call 408-297-1182. You can call that number today for a free, completely confidential consultation. Again, that's 408-297-1182.